You've all probably had milk at some point in your life, unless you're severely allergic, of course. Maybe you had it poured over your cereal or in a tall glass to dip your cookies in. It's a drink that can offer quite a few health benefits, as long as you drink it in moderation. But that got us thinking, what if someone only drank milk and nothing else? Not even water, no juice, just milk all day, every day. Could it really provide everything your body needs to function? Is swapping water for milk a terrible idea? And if it is, what kind of problems might show up? Could it even be deadly? These are some pretty good questions. So today, we're answering them thanks to our brave test subject, Gustav. So grab your milk carton and get ready as we dive into today's big question. 1 year drinking only milk? What's it really like? We're not doing this halfway. If Gustav is going to be our test subject, he's going all in. So first things first, he's heading out to buy all the milk he'll be drinking for the entire year. And from now on, every single meal, without exception, will be just milk. No more cooking, no sneaky extras, no chocolate powder, no coffee with milk. And don't even think about dipping cookies in it or having cereal. Just plain 2% semi-skimmed cow's milk. And not just a little bit, we're talking 1.3 gallons or 5 liters a day. Sounds like a lot? Well, it's not as much as you might think. That's 20 full glasses of milk. Okay, yeah, that's a lot, but Gustav needs to hit 2,500 calories a day to keep his energy up. So, buddy, how was breakfast? He just chugged 5 glasses in a row and it's definitely sitting heavy in his stomach. But hey, for a meal that only costs 80 cents, you can't expect perfection. Oh, Gustav, is that a water pitcher I see on your table? Yeah, you can go ahead and put that away. Milk is actually 90% water. So with this milk diet, you're already drinking around 4.5 liters of water a day without even pouring yourself a glass of water. That's more than enough water daily. For someone your size, Gustav, the recommended daily water intake, including food and drinks, is about 3.5 to 4 liters. Because, fun fact, about 20% of the water you consume normally comes from solid foods like fruit, veggies, and sauces. But for Gustav, 100% of his water is now coming from his quote-unquote food. So, Gustav, how's it going after a week and 35 liters of milk later? Well, he seems to have plenty of energy. He's out running. Oh, never mind. He's looking a little queasy. Not surprising, really. Milk isn't exactly easy on the stomach, and going for a run after downing a bunch of it, bad idea. But since Gustav is constantly drinking milk, he's never running on an empty stomach, or a full one for that matter, just a stomach sloshing with milk. And if it doesn't come up the way it came in, well, let's just say it's going to make a quick exit the other way. Now, you might think the digestion issue comes from milk being fatty, but that's not quite it. Sure, fat isn't the easiest thing to digest, but since Gustav's drinking 2% milk, meaning it's made up of 2% fat, so about 2 grams of fat per 100 grams of milk, he's actually consuming less fat than most of us. The recommended daily fat intake for the average man is about 93 grams. Gustav, he's only getting 60. What actually makes milk hard to digest isn't the fat, it's a sugar called lactose. And yeah, a ton of people can't digest it at all. This is especially true in Asia and the Far East, where around 90% of people can't produce lactase, the enzyme needed to break down lactose. That means that for most Asians, even a small amount of milk guarantees, well, a very bad time. And no, it's not something you can get used to by drinking more milk, it's genetic. If you're lactose intolerant, no amount of training is going to change that. Lucky for Gustav, he's not Asian, and an overwhelming majority of Caucasians can digest lactose because they produce lactase. But just because someone produces lactase doesn't mean they can digest milk perfectly. Because here's the thing, our body's ability to produce lactase starts to drop as we get older and only continues to decrease over time. So even with a natural ability to digest it, lactose can still lead to some serious stomach trouble, especially if you're drinking 5 liters of milk a day. That sound? Gustav better get used to it. It's gonna be his theme song for the rest of the year. Buddy, do yourself a favor and stock up on wet wipes. Trust me. It's a shame, really. Lactose-free milk exists, but poor guy, Gustave already bought an entire year's worth of regular milk, so yeah, too late now. So, Gustave's just knocked back his 140th liter of milk, and honestly, at first glance, he's not looking too bad. I mean, he seems to have kept the same weight and muscle mass as before. Yep, turns out milk has protein, and not just a little bit. Each bottle packs 33 grams of protein. That's basically the same as a good-sized burger patty. And since Gustave drinks 5 bottles of milk a day, it's like he's downing the equivalent of 5 good-sized burger patties a day. That's a ton of protein, definitely on par with a serious bodybuilder's routine. By the way, you know those protein powders people drink in protein shakers after a workout? A lot of those protein powders are actually made from milk. You've probably heard of it before. It's called whey protein, and it's super popular because it's affordable and usually pretty good quality. Basically, it's got all the amino acids your body needs to do its thing, unlike some plant-based proteins like lentils, which aren't as complete. That's why vegan athletes, for example, have to pay extra attention to their protein intake. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Now, whey protein does have a downside. It contains lactose, just like milk. So yep, it can cause the same problems as milk itself, like, you know, passing gas and not so fresh breath. Gustave, buddy, you're getting a little too close to her face there, and she's probably too polite to tell you that your breath smells. But hey, it's really not your fault. There's nothing you can do about it. Milk just gives everyone bad breath. The bacteria in our mouths love the nutrients in milk. And when those nutrients get digested, it produces hydrogen sulfide, aka that nasty gas that smells like rotten eggs. So yeah, not great. Apparently, the bad breath situation gets even worse for people who are lactose intolerant. And if you're wondering what kind of smell I'm talking about, it's not the same funky smell as when you forgot to brush your teeth. This smell has its own vibe. It's so specific that in English there is a term for it, milk breath. That said, is that a reason to give up milk completely? Nah, just brush your teeth or maybe give lactose-free milk a shot and see if that helps. On that note, Gustave, go ahead and brush your teeth. So, it's been 6 months since Gustave started his all-milk diet, and somehow the guy is still alive. But let's be real, he's looking a little rough, especially his skin. Check out those breakouts. Yep, he's definitely developed some acne. Turns out studies show milk can make you more likely to get acne. So is it the fat in milk to blame for an increase in zits? Well, weirdly enough, no. Whole milk, the full fat kind, actually causes less acne than 2% milk or semi-skimmed milk. Milk really is full of mysteries. But one thing's for sure, Gustave's digestion is not getting any better. You'd think his body would adjust after a while, but nope. And when your system clearly doesn't vibe with something, forcing it doesn't help either. Jokes aside, this is starting to get pretty serious. Long-term bathroom issues like this can seriously dehydrate you. He's pretty much losing liters of water every day. And the wild part is, he's so dehydrated now, he's not even thirsty anymore. Yeah, that's a thing. That kind of dehydration drops your blood pressure and makes you feel super weak. You know, like when you stand up too fast and suddenly the room's spinning. Alright, Gustave, my man, starting now, try drinking some water with the milk. If you keep pushing your body like this, you could end up in shock or even slip into a coma, and that would be a real shame. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention yet, Gustave's extreme fatigue, that's not just the dehydration. He's also got iron deficiency anemia. Basically, he's not getting enough iron, and yep, milk's got almost none. Not super surprising though, iron deficiency is the most common deficiency in the world. It's very easy to end up low. Women of childbearing age are especially at risk since they lose a lot of iron during their period, and vegetarians need to watch out too. Plant-based iron exists, but it's harder for the body to absorb. Kinda like how plant proteins work too, but okay, we're going off topic again. Anyway, that's why Gustave looks pale, feels so tired, and is also very quickly out of breath, which is why even making his bed feels like a full-on workout. Because yes, iron is essential for carrying oxygen through our blood. Without enough iron, your endurance tanks. You lose your breath easily, so we become the opposite of a Kenyan runner. I say that because Kenyans, especially those from high altitude areas, are known for their insane lung capacity. Now, maybe you're wondering, if milk causes all this, what about babies? They drink nothing but milk, right? So do they get anemia? Actually, no. Babies stock up on iron while they're still in their mother's womb. Plus, they usually start eating other foods after 6 months, so iron naturally becomes a part of their diet, unlike poor Gustave, who's still stuck chugging nothing but milk. You hear that, buddy? Your island lovers are only gonna go downhill from here. And yeah, that also means hair loss. Anemia can make your hair fall out and your nails brittle. At this point, Gustave is so over milk, quite literally fed up with it, but he's gotta keep going for 6 more months if he wants to complete the challenge I gave him. When you make a commitment, you stick to it. I only want serious people on my team. That's it. It's officially been a year since Gustave drank nothing but milk. And what can we say? He still has breakouts, still has the runs, and still no energy. Oh, and we can't forget the hair loss. We should also mention Gustave's massive calcium overload. The recommended max is about 2,500 milligrams per day, and he's been hitting over 6,000. Yep, that's 6 grams if that sounds scarier. Is it slowly killing him? Apparently not, but it could have caused some serious heart issues. Too much calcium can mess with your heart's ability to contract properly, and in extreme cases, it can actually be fatal. Thankfully for Gustave, this experiment has come to an end. Oh my goodness, he shouldn't pretend to do that, this jokester. So, how did it feel to chew food for the first time in a year? Alright, so what did we learn? Milk does have all the macronutrients you need: fat, sugar, protein, and so on. But when it comes to micronutrients, it's kind of a mess. Some minerals are way too high, others like iron are totally missing. And if you add in the year-long diarrhea into the mix, yeah, I can't really recommend the all-milk diet. That said, in normal amounts, milk's actually a superfood for those who can digest it. In recent years, milk's gotten a bad rep. Some say it increases heart risk, causes diabetes, even cancer. But honestly, none of that has really been proven for people who drink it in moderation, like a glass or a bowl a day. So, our dear Gustave gets to walk away without too much damage. But this is just the beginning of his wild experiments, and trust me, what's coming next is gonna push him way harder. Stay tuned because you won't want to miss what's coming next.